T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis on a mission to build, resupply.
Yay! Okay, praise God. This is an example of clean fuel. Now, I know it doesn't look all that appealing. It doesn't have a rainbow of colors or gravy to sop. But what this is salmon, green peas, and okra. Now, what I'm preparing is my meal for after my fast. Okay, I'm fasting, and you know how it is when you come off of a fast or you've been working hard, you can easily slip and eat some junk food. And I don't want to revert back to, undo the cleansing that I've just done, that I'm in the process of doing. So I want to prepare in advance. And so this is clean fuel. I want the fatty acids, the omega-3s from my salmon to get to their destination on time, which is the heart. I want the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals to get from my veggies. I want them to get to their destination on time, okay, to do their job. So that's why it doesn't have, I don't have any comfort foods, with it. Ooh, hear the sizzle. Yay. Again, this only has a sliver of butter. I've decided to wait until after my fast to add the seasoning because I'm thinking that the ground salmon has enough salt. So I'm going to wait until then. But anyway, this is an example of clean fuel. Welcome to Healing God's Way. I am Rainey Daii White, your hostess. The clip you just saw was a perfect example of clean fuel. And it helped me lean into our conversation today, which is avoid the sticky. Now, why is that important? Because we want our nutrients to get to their destination on time. Welcome back to Healing God's Way. Now, before we get into the heart of our conversation, avoid the sticky, I want to give credit where it's due. Because over the years, I have listened to and studied and read so many books and listened to tapes upon tapes upon tapes. And so the current or the most popular people of our generation would be, Dr. David Perlmutter. He wrote a series, or has a series, on grains for the brain. John Stone, he deals with metabolism and diabetes. Dr. Gundry, he teaches us how to heal a leaky gut. Now, these people, they have their own professions, but they've honed in to a particular need or a problem or challenge and have found solutions. Now, the folks that I observe on the holistic side, but not limited to, would be the herb sister down in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Rab here in LA, of course, Dr. Sebi from the Honduras, my mentor that I actually studied up under in the Marinas, which is Dr. Mufuku, and I remember as a kid riding in my mother's Volkswagen as we tool around town, and so she would always have the radio tuned to talk radio, and so I'd be paying attention. But my favorite portion was when they got to the health segment. Now, little did she know, when she'd be off at work and I'd be home by myself, at that special hour, I would tune in to Dr. Delgado. And so, God just gave me a heart for absorbing that type of information. As product developers, we had access to medical releases or chemical releases. And in order to stay on the cutting edge and not be a Me Too product, we had to avail ourselves to that information. And so I just gravitated towards it, and I was just constantly, researching and reading up and just following following the progressions of, well, he hasn't made anything new under the sun, or whatever the medical industry called themselves discovering, I made sure I kept up with it, okay? So, but my favorite of all teachers was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I admired him so because for 400 years, okay, we had been conditioned to think a certain way. And what he did, he knew he had to reach us through economics, and he also had to reach us through health to change the minds. And so with his fourth grade education, what he was able to do was recruit and oversee people that could follow through or help him execute his vision. So he raised a nation of people out of prisons, out of drugs and alcohol, okay? He was able to build restaurants and supermarkets. Oh, and even import whiting from the healthy waters, fresh waters of a Christian nation, Lima, Peru, okay? And so, and he did this with the heart and the mind to do what? To preserve the seed for future generations. See, that's a next generation thinker. That's, if you will, that's an oracle of transition. Now, in 1972, when he wrote the book, How to Eat to Live, that was just a launching pad, if you will, okay, to bring us out of 400 years of slavery thinking, of having swine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, morning, noon, and night, pig feet for a snack. We had, pig feet, and for seasoning there was hog maws and fatback. Okay, he knew that we had to change our way of thinking. So again, here we go with this fourth grade education. He was a forward thinker. He was a next generation thinker. Now, mind you, in our training, he incorporated general civilization class. Now, what that means to me is that even if we were in the jungle or in the rainforest and modern civilization was across the pond, as a forward thinker, we would not continue to do things just because we've been doing a thing the way we've been doing a thing. That we would incorporate modern civilization, maintain our healthy way of living, where he brought us to, but we would have the mind to advance ourselves and bring over modern plumbing so that we could have fresh drinking water as well as plumbing to get rid of waste. We would have refrigeration. We still wouldn't be churning butter by hand or milking cows by hand. We would avail ourselves to modern equipment. There's no doubt in my mind, if he was living today, that How to Eat to Live would be in volume 21 for the year 2021. There's no doubt in my mind, okay, that he would have availed himself and would be teaching the modern holistic advancements as well as the alkaline remedies. Again, there's no doubt in my mind. Originally, God intended for us, originally, it didn't change, okay? He intended for this magnificent body to operate on clean fuel. And I know as cooks, as chefs, okay, we want to taste different things. We want to explore, different creative possibilities. But that has got the body into a world of trouble. It wasn't designed for all that complicated stuff. It just wasn't designed. Matter of fact, it wasn't designed to have meat. Did you know that as the enzymes are released, there's no enzyme for meat? Nope. There's no enzyme for meat. Matter of fact, it wasn't even on the meal plan. God's chosen people, the Israelite, they asked for meat. He was like, oh, really? You want some meat? You craving meat, really? Well, see, what happened was, it was over in somebody else's camp, okay, folks that was eating meat, and they got tasting it. Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah. So then they came back and said, hey, God, can we have meat? And he go like, oh, really? Anyway, that's a different story for a different time. He gave us permission. If that's what you want to do, fine. Go ahead and eat your meat. So since there isn't a body-generated enzyme for meat, we've had to substitute. If we have a fermented food that we can drink or eat before the meat goes down, then, because see, when you eat the meat and it passes the taste buds, there is no enzyme that's going to be released into the stomach for you. It doesn't even recognize it. Same way, it doesn't recognize quiche. It doesn't recognize mac and cheese. It doesn't recognize, because those are food that, no, the body doesn't recognize it. The trick to eating meat, in order for it to digest, is to have something fermented. So sauerkraut, kombucha, pickled beets, things of that sort that will break down the fermentation of that particular food, will help break down that meat. So, you can get the benefit of that protein. Other than that, it's just a waste. It's just going to sit there. So when we have a body that's 96 degrees or maybe a little warmer, housing is moist inside, right? So now, if we have those comfort foods, and let me better describe comfort foods. Now, mind you, I'm not hating. Dressing, mac and cheese, all those things I love. They are my favorites. As a matter of fact, I was a cheeseaholic at one point. Everything was triple cheese this, double cheese that. I mean, if they made cheese ice cream, okay, I was down. Okay? Just take me to a cheese festival. It was, I loved it. Matter of fact, I even lost my hearing behind cheese. And see, people will always tell you that God is a gentle God, and yes, He is, and He's a gentleman. But yeah, He'll also smack you to get your attention. I literally lost my hearing behind some cheese. Okay? See, we eat our way into chronic conditions. We eat our way into ailments. And then we want to reach for a pill, reach for a prescription. All you got to do is eat your way out of it. And so I'm going to help you with that. So now, but let's stay on task. We're talking about avoiding the sticky. So when I talk about these things, when I talk about these comfort foods, trust me, they are my favorites. I love them. I love them. However, In the words of Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better. I made a decision to respect and be kind to the machinery that God gave me. And what I learned was that when you love the body and give it consistent care, it'll respond immediately. Forthwith, it responds. Okay? So trust and believe, you can back your way out of a lot of ailments, a lot of diseases, if you do it on time. Okay? You gotta get with it, and you gotta be consistent. And so there's so many updates and that was one of the things about holistic medicine back in the day. It took so long for things to happen, whereas you go to modern medicine or Western medicine, they give you a pill or chop off your foot and, you don't have to deal with the pain. But now, modern holistic remedies are more progressive and you get faster results. But even still, you can't just lay back into your old habits. You have to give your body consistent and loving care, and it will respond for you, and no doubt about it. Now see, I've had so many issues. I've had ailments upon ailments. I've had viruses. I've had funguses. I've had I lost my hearing. Matter of fact, I was even bald on top. I was literally bald on top. Okay? Now, I can wear any hairstyle I desire. I've even been to the barbershop, okay, and had my hair cut off and it grew. I would have been afraid before, okay? I would have stuck a wig on and just went on about my business. But he taught me or showed me how I ate my way into that challenge and how I ate my way out of it. Okay? So I'm going to share with you, as we progress, I'm going to share with you some of those things. Okay, but right now we're dealing with the sticky. We're dealing with the sticky because this is most important, especially now, and I alluded to earlier. This season, we're getting ready to go into the holiday season. We're getting ready to go into the flu and the cold season. And we're all dealing with the pandemic. So this was given to me by the Most High for this day and this time. Why? Because He loves you and He wants you to be able to make it to the other side of this worldwide health crisis. So my prayer is that if you serve the Most High, okay, whether you call Him Allah, call Him God, whether you worship in a sanctuary, whether you worship in a temple or a mosque, that if you are seeking and serving the Most High, that Almighty God, yes sir, that you would avail yourself to the information I'm about to share, because He wants to have a relationship with you and He wants you to make it to the other side. Now, why me? I don't know, okay? But I'm just glad I was paying attention. All right? So now, let's get on to it. Let's avoid the sticky.